All right. Let's give us another shot, Coach. It's 11 o'clock or a little bit after and here on Thursday. It's game week, and you guys head up to Hardwick this week. 1-0, looking to move to 2-0. And, Coach, again, appreciate you taking your time today to talk with us ahead of the game. And I guess, we look back at 2 weeks ago in that Moravian game, and we talked about it last week a little bit. But, how happy were you with how your team played in that season opener against Moravian?
I mean, we were, pleased in that we thought we played good complementary football. Our offense helped our defense helped the offense. The kick game helped both phases. They were helped the kick game from there, and that's always a key and a goal. And we didn't make catastrophic mistakes. In week one, you're trying to figure out who you are and what you are, and a lot of times games are decided in that first week of the season of who makes the less mistakes, or the team that loses usually makes a catastrophic mistake, and we didn't do that. And then as I talked like last week, I thought we handled adversity, because in a 60-minute game, there's going to be ups and downs. And when, Moravian had momentum and things in there, our guys found a way to stop it and, stem the momentum, back to our side from that deal. So they were all, good things that you need to do to win games, to win close games. And we're looking to build on that as we move, from the bye now and have a game every week.
We talked about last week and throughout that bye week. How important do you think it was for you guys to be able to develop that depth through the bye week, and how have you seen those younger guys get, just started to get really comfortable with things, especially with like classes started and that such?
I mean, it was good. I thought they handled the bye week really well. We had good practices, got a lot of reps for some of the younger guys. From there, they got to play the first JV game. We played a lot of guys in that game because they hadn't been really in the college game, some of those guys, and they're guys that are on the cusp of getting into a varsity game from that standpoint. So I thought the bye accomplished the goals that we had set out.
Again, here with Jeff Knarr, head coach of our Kings football team, here at 11 o'clock every Thursday before game day. And Coach, when you look at leaders, obviously we talked about it a little bit last week. You guys just named two more single-digit players, and Joe Damiano and Gabe Asala. Just talk about what you've seen out of those two and how they're really helping the offensive unit.
Yeah, I mean, again, from Gabe, I mean, he always brought that leadership to it, which as a quarterback you need to be a leader, and he's a vocal leader, which you need, and then he has a tremendous amount of care, and sold out on the program and everything in there. So from his leadership, he's a vocal leader that he's willing to give great effort to himself, and then make sure that his teammates are doing that as well, and get on him and not let him slide. Just because they're his friend or not that. And that's what a true leader is able to do, is to get them to be focused and locked in and given the maximum capacity effort that person, that teammate can give from there. And then he's just does a tremendous job in the classroom, great on campus, and he's just a tremendous athlete. He has worked really hard, and then had a breakout kind of performance from a wide receiver. He's worked hard to become a good wide receiver, not just an athlete playing the position, and then earn that single digit. And then with Joe, no one works harder than him. I mean, he's a tremendous work ethic. He's tough as hell. I mean, you get a kid from the coal region, that's the one that you're going to get, a kid that has tremendous work ethic, and they're extremely tough, and that's what Joe is. And his care is no one cares more than he does, and he works really hard. And the thing about you see him, they try to get young linemen to figure out is a lot of times young linemen they miss a block. They don't go to the right guy, and they stand around and stop or try to find that guy. If you can show Joe, if he goes the wrong guy, he finds somebody else, and he's physical on that guy. And then and then you just need to do that when you're blocking for the best running back in the conference from that deal. But his work ethic, his toughness that he brings day in and day out. I don't think he's missed a practice, or a game, and worked through some injuries and stuff. Shows how tough he is. And again, he excels in the classroom, and has been a great person on campus. So two of those guys earned the right to be single digit tough, and we were proud to honor him with that.
Coach, you talked about a little bit in that first question about taking care of the football and then trying to get it take it away. You guys have done a really nice job the last 2 years of really winning that turnover battle. How important is that throughout a football game to obviously take the ball away more than you're giving it away?
I mean, huge. I mean, we want the ball. I mean, we need it so we get extra possessions when our defense does it, and then turnovers there again. There's momentum, swing, field position swing, all those types of things. Loss, of a possession from that standpoint, and it's gonna be huge. I mean, last year, this game with Hardwick was a shootout. And we had to get 5 turnovers and a defensive score, and to help us win the game. So it's always imperative. The more we can take the ball from our opponent, it's huge. And not turning it over, it's doing those things that, not creating those catastrophic mistakes that are hard to overcome, from that standpoint. So we preach constantly, ball security, and then, on the defensive side of how to, take the ball away.
Coach, you guys head up to Hartwick in New York this weekend, and you talked about that win last year. It was a shootout. It was over 100 points scored in that game. Pretty crazy. But, when you look at this Hartwick team, what do you see as some of their strengths?
They're relentless. They get after it on defense. They run to the football. They run, their twist game, the coverages with just tremendous, speed and, physicality and a strong desire to get to the football. And you see this ending offensively. They run hard. They've played a couple different tailbacks. Their quarterbacks are big. They can run. Number 8 had a breakout game last week from there. And then they're relentless in that, they love to throw the ball down the field. And they got playmakers that they feel they can get the ball to, down the field from there. So, if they throw something and they don't hit it or they throw a pick, they're not afraid to come back to it. And a lot of times, when you play teams, if something doesn't work, it gets put in their back pocket and you never see it again. You're able to take it away. With Hartwick, they believe in what they do, and a one setback, a turnover, getting stopped, missing something, they're going to continue to come after it. They're going to pressure you and be relentless with it, whether they get home or not. They're not going to say, well, this didn't work, this play, and put it away. They're going to keep coming after it. And the same thing, throwing the ball down the field. Hey, we overthrew him, but he was open. We're going to come back to it and not put away. So they're different than what you see some other teams from there. So our kids got to be, locked in and focused and know, hey, we're going to see, down the field passing game, hard running game, and then they got to be able to play that every play. And then and offensively, the same thing. They're going to constantly come after us, and we got to make sure that we're, getting our assignments, getting our checks, setting the protections the right way, so we can execute, play after play after play. And just because we stop them doesn't mean we're going to take something away from them, because, they're going to keep continuing to do what they believe in.
Here with Jeff Knarr, head football coach at King's College, every Thursday morning at 11. And Coach, you guys have won your last 4 road games, and you're haven't lost a road game in over a year. And it just talks about the how you guys prepare. Just what do you guys do differently, maybe on the road than you would at home? And obviously you've got the second longest win streak in the conference on the road. So talk about how you prepare your guys to kind of get up and head out of town.
We just talked to him about, one, if you're going to be a good football team, you got to be able to go in someone else's, environment and come away with a win. And then we got to treat it as it's a business trip. That's our job, is not to enjoy, the scenery up there or the food after the game, or be on someone else's campus and all that. It's a business trip. You're there for one reason and one reason only, is to go out there and play good football. And if you want to call yourself, a good football team, you got to be able to, leave the comforts of home and be in an uncomfortable, environment and perform well. So we constantly, just talk to our kids and preach to our kids about that, and emphasize, make sure they're in the right mental state of their mind, maybe a little earlier in the week than you would, on a home game, but trying to not do too much different from anything than just emphasizing the fact that, one, you got to be locked in mentally and understand that this is, it's a business trip, and this is, the itinerary is to go up there and play our best to come away with a W. And our kids have, handled that, which shows, maturity, and then, understanding what it takes to be, a good football team, is that, you need to win on the road. And, the last, like you said, the year, our kids have handled that, very, very well.
Coach, you're trying to go to 2-0 this weekend, and it would be the first time since '93, since the program restarted, that this team has gone to 2-0. What does it mean to get to 2-0 for you guys this week? Obviously, it's a goal, but what would it be like going into conference play to still be undefeated?
It would be really good from there, because then we handled our non-conference part of the schedule well. From that standpoint, to because we told the kids right now, it's about winning the week. I said the best your record could be, on Saturday is 2-0. So do everything, prepare. We got to practice, do everything we can with that mindset to be 2-0 from there. Because before you can, then that's just about that one day at a time mentality, that championship climb that we try to talk to our kids about and believe in. That you can't look ahead to anything or down the road what could be because of this, that, and everything. You just take each day, at its own. And then the only, the best record we could have on September 21st at 5:30 at night is 2-0. So we need to do everything we can to ensure that. And then, to come away with the non-conference, part of our schedule and have 2 wins. And then obviously there's going to be, we've done some good things to build on to go and play, as we mentioned earlier, how good our conference is, and be able to play in a competitive, high-level, conference in Division III. One, it gives kids confidence. 2, we obviously have a lot of things that we can, build on and do well, and then still be able to address any of the things that showed up as issues or problems in 2 non-conference games as you prepare again for an 8-game gauntlet in our conference.
Coach, appreciate your time as always here on Thursday. Jeff Knarr Coach's Show here on Facebook Live. Again, every Thursday at 11 o'clock in the morning, Coach. We appreciate your time. Good luck this Saturday against Harwick, and we'll catch up with you next week on homecoming week before that game with Lyco.
All right, thanks for having me.